Well, Trent, it's a point, but against the team that's been your big rivals, does it also feel like a bit of a statement and a step forward for this new-look Liverpool?
I think there's definitely a result that better than what we got here last year. We haven't had too many good results here in general, to be honest. But it's a points game. We take the point. It wasn't an amazing performance from us at all. But like I said, we take the point, and there was positives. We had our chances to win the game. Really,
that's interesting. You're probably more down about the performance than I thought you would be.
I don't think we played particularly well, first half especially. Their formation and the way they set up really challenged us. And they have a lot of bodies in there, and it's difficult to play against. But we regrouped at half time. I think we came out second half with a bit more of a game plan and to press them. It's always difficult. It's just subconsciously when you play against Man City, you've got a lot of respect for the team and the way they play. So just automatically you think you can't really get tight to the players, and you stand off them a little bit, and that seems to be the problem in the first half. I think second half we definitely put that respect to the side and thought, let's go for it. We have to come here and try and get a result, and that's what we did.
The manager wanted you to be compact. Obviously, part of your job is to pull into midfield. Did it feel, probably for both teams, very condensed in there and very hard to play through the thirds?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the way they broke us down was probably round the side rather than through us, and likewise with us. It was not really a game for penetrating through the middle. It was more around the outside and a little bit in behind. But like I said, they have a lot of bodies in there, shift the ball well, ball players who can really manipulate the ball. It's difficult to get near them. But like I said, second half I thought we were a lot better, and we had our chances and we took one.
Well, you did, yeah. Blimey, for you, how big was the job today? On one hand, you've got to obviously get out to your flank and stop Doku, but you've also got to pull in and influence play. So there's a lot on your to-do list.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there was potentially a game plan to stop me from getting the ball in midfield. At least that's what it felt like, especially in the first half. I think.
Go on, just on that. What did you sense in terms of them wanting to stop you?
A little bit of a marking. I think Bernardo was very close to me a lot when I was pulling inside.
Quite a compliment.
I mean, I could be completely wrong, and I could just be talking nonsense. But I'm pretty sure that was the game plan. It felt like that. So it was about trying to get on the ball in different ways, and I think I adapted to it. I tried to pull out a little bit wider. Tried to just try and get on the ball as much as possible, but also free players up and get Macca on the ball, get Dom on the ball, get Kurt on the ball, and Ryan when he came on, especially, who get on the ball and drive forward. The players that can really get us up the pitch, and I thought we'd done that again, especially well in the second half.
Tell us about the goal.
Yeah,
What did you see?
An opportunity, that was it really. Got the ball from Mo and thought hit the target, get it across goal. I could sense that there was bodies. It was just a touch and get it across goal, and obviously it was a good finish into the far corner. And it was one that we needed as a team.
It looked like you enjoyed the moment with the City fans, with your celebration.
It's always good to celebrate in front of away fans. You get to see the different faces, and it's funny. But it was about getting the job over the line and getting that point.
Yeah, and lastly, is something really building with this team? You know what it takes now to win big competition. I think you said in the week, we're here to compete win the title. Do you just sense, and will today add to that belief?
For sure. There's been many times we played a lot better against Man City and lost the game. So to come here and get the point is a good result for us, if I'm honest. And it was something that we needed as a team. And I think it just instills that belief that even when we don't play well against the champions, they just won a treble last year, team at the top of the league. If you can't play well and still get a point against them, then at least you're doing something right. And we've dug in deep today. And got that point.
Well, you did lots right, and you're player of the match.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Trent Alexander-Arnold, who steps off the field and gives us some brilliant tactical insight into his role and the tactical battle of that game against the champions this afternoon, which has still left them separated by only a point. but it means that Manchester City's grip at the top is potentially slightly weakened because Arsenal have the chance to go above both of those sides today, and Spurs can join them on 29 points tomorrow when they take on Aston Villa on Super Sunday. So is it a good point, Daniel, for Liverpool, do you think?
Yeah, I think they'd be delighted with the result, to be honest. I thought that Manchester City were very good today, but Liverpool continued to press on. In the second half, they changed the mentality. You could see there was an emphasis on pressing high up the pitch and ensuring that they were counter-pressing. And with the change of Gravenberch, I thought it was very influential in the game and helped them get the result as well with Trent's finish.
How do you reflect on it, Mike?
I think City would be frustrated after Haaland scored that goal. You're thinking, can they kick on and go again? Can they go up a gear? It never really happened. I think the tactical battle was amazing. Normally when we see Liverpool, Man City, it's normally high intensity, end to end. It wasn't that today. If you talk about Trent mentioning in the interview there, he had to really go down the sides where Doku was and Salah on the other side. So I think Man City will be disappointed that they couldn't, it's international break just coming back, but disappointed they couldn't go another gear. I thought they'll be, very disappointed.
It's a step forward, though, for Liverpool potentially, Jamie. Might this be a game they might have lost last season?
Oh, they would have lost it last season. We saw the performance last season. There's no doubt that something is building here. And I think it was interesting listening to Trent's talking there. Even though Liverpool were 1-0 down at half-time, it felt like the message from Jurgen Klopp was, go for it, lads. Not that Man City aren't that good, but don't almost show so much respect. And I think at the start of the second half, they were pressing a lot higher. Trent was actually going into midfield where I think Bernardo Silva was leaving, Doku to Matip, and almost jumping higher and pressing higher and saying, you know what, come on, we can actually get something from it. But I think what you just mentioned, I think both teams still lacked a little something. Maybe on the back of the international break, they've had one training session before it where they weren't fully fine. I don't think either team really done enough. Even though, Manchester City were better on the stats, it didn't feel like that watching the game that anyone really deserved to win the game.
I felt at times within the game, we know Man City like to have the patience, and there was so many times in the game I thought Liverpool pushed their line right up, and it was almost like they wanted to go to feet all the time. They needed to mix up the game today, go over the top. Haaland was always doing that run where he comes short to go long, but no one found him today.
Yeah, and I think, to be fair, from what Jamie was saying, I think those games after the international break, specifically players who were travelling from South America and those types of places, that little bit of jet lag, you're getting in early kick-off, 12:30, you're thinking, I'm getting up a bit, feel my eyes a bit tired. But then in that second half, you can see that guys livened up a bit. Even on the City side as well, I think they started better. And then when it came to the second half, it was probably a bit more of an even game.
So that's why I suppose we were restricted to so few chances and a game really of not too much risk from either side. But where did City's opening goal come from, Jamie?
Well, Liverpool, we mentioned at half-time, Alisson, who didn't have his best game today, he was really poor on the board. He could have cost Liverpool towards the end of the game a couple of times with his clearances, but you've seen him do that before and pull it off. It's fantastic from Ake and Trent, who's man of the match, but he's not great. He's got to do better in those situations. There's no doubt about that.
Be more physical, engaged?
Yeah, you look at, listen, it's not just the fact that someone goes past you, it's the body language. Look at someone like the pace he's going, it's still not great, but Trent's got to be more intense, got to be on his feet, it's got to be tougher. Certainly for Nathan Ake, he's a left-back going past you, that's the big problem for me. But, Daniel, you mentioned at half-time, the touch there from Nathan Ake and then the ball into the man, Haaland.
Yeah, I just think the way he manipulates the ball, you talked about earlier on, how he positions himself in that little, in between the centre-halves. And the first touch, how quick he does it, it's back, in the back of the net, no messing about. And I think how lethal he is, you see he checks his shoulder there, and it's almost like, this is how much time I've got maybe 1-2 seconds to get this out my feet and put it in, and he just did it perfectly, to be honest with you.
Daniel, when he has that look there, and you've been in that situation, and then you see how quick he is with his control. So he has that look now. He knows how close Van Dijk is. Is that why he gets those touches off really quick and gets the shot off quick?
Absolutely, yeah, because if I'm dilly-dallying in the box, sometimes you do have time, but if you're dilly-dallying in there, especially against great defenders as well, you're not getting your shot off and they are going to block it. So I think he knew, I've got to do this as quick as possible. And when you are training, it is about time faults, like, you've took too long, no goal if you're doing the shooting drills. So it's about getting out your feet and getting it off.
But is that the difference with a player like Haaland? If that first touch is a little bit bobbly, is the chance gone?
Yeah, 100%. It depends. It could have been a touch where, say, his touch isn't so good. Maybe he can manipulate a little bit if he believes in himself, technically. But the way he does it, in that you take your touch, you get it at your feet, and you put it in the back of the net. There's just no messing about.
Is that the difference between him and Nunes there? These little details you're talking about at this moment in time. I'm not putting Nunes down, but just the difference at this moment.
I think it's probably different types of players. I think Haaland's probably used to doing this and playing and positioning himself in these places. Can I?
Yeah, the thing I find fascinating there that I think is unbelievable from Haaland, this is all happening in a very small space. I mean, Nathan Ake is, 10 yards away from him. Now, he knows the exact moment where he thinks, OK, I can now look. So, because you think Ake's going to pass you the ball. I've got the look. If he then passes it, you're not ready. So he knows Ake's not going to pass it just at that split second. I can check my shoulder, now I can back, and now I'm in. And this is all happening in half a second. And this is that's why he's the best. He's the best in world football as a centre-forward right now. But you think of the time frame, the small space between players, he can still get that look off and still be ready to receive the pass.
Alisson got his hand to it. Any chance? I mean, should he have stopped it?
I think a goalkeeper who I recognise, in my eyes, I think he's the best in the world, or certainly in the top 2 or 3. I think he'd be disappointed with that. And I think he'd be disappointed with his overall performance today, Alisson. I don't think he was at it at all. He struggled at times with the ball at his feet, as we saw in the lead up to this goal. But I think a goalkeeper of his quality, I think he'll think he should do a little bit better.
Do you think the bubble catches him out?
Maybe how quick Haaland gets the shot off as well. You think about a goalkeeper setting himself. Yeah. Was that always something for you when you're out of strike? If you get your shot off earlier, the goalkeeper's not set.
That's almost like a hidden trick in a way. Is it like, OK, cool. The sooner you get your shot off, the easier it is for you to almost surprise the goalkeeper. Like when you take no backlift shots, things like that, those are the types of finishes that keepers are like, whoa, like what's he done there? Like how's he got that out of his feet so quick and just shot? Because when they're setting themselves, if you get your shot off when they're setting themselves, they've not really got as much of a chance. Whereas when they're set, a guy like Alisson is 100% going to
You think of both goals today. I mean, think of the 2 goalkeepers we've got, 2 of the best in the world. Both goals were almost touch shot. It was almost like there wasn't that control, set yourself, then get the shot off. Trent's was exactly the same. I mean, he's almost taken the shot in the same action as the control.
Yeah. We'll come to the equaliser in just a moment. Just want to stick with Alisson. It felt like there was a bit of a plan to get round him from Manchester City, and maybe they might have had a second goal.
Absolutely here. I mean, I think there is a touch on the arm there. So, maybe if it goes the other way and it's given a goal, then it would have been a big decision. But VAR decided it was a disallowed goal, and I think maybe it was the right decision.
Is this what we want, Jamie? You want the referee to be making the decision on the field, and then we go looking for a clear and obvious error?
Yeah, I think that's what we want. But listen, for me, Liverpool and Alisson are extremely lucky, very lucky. Now, if the referee doesn't give that VAR, I'm not saying that's a foul. There's no way in the world. And a goalkeeper of his quality, I mean, it's hardly anything.
Michael, what do you think?
I just think Alisson actually pushes him first as well, and then he tries to go back into Alisson, and then he puts his arm on. I think it's very soft, if I'm being told. I agree with Carragher.
But has Akanji not got his arm on Alisson at the crucial moment?
At the crucial moment, but he's not sort of stopping him putting his arm up. He's sort of just using it as a guideline.
It's like a centre-back and a centre-forward jumping for a header. It's that.
Yeah.
That's all he's got. He hasn't got his hand and pulling his arm.
Just watch his arm.
So the free now,
it doesn't stop him. He's just using him.
I think there
to balance.
He's got his hand on his arm. Whether he, pulls it and gets it off track or not, that's another discussion. But if we're talking about contact, they've seen the contact on the arm and said he's using his arms, he's catching the ball. Right.
What it reminds me a little bit of is the Newcastle-Arsenal situation, where you could make an argument, it was probably 50-50, was it a foul on Gabriel? But the fact the referee hadn't given it, it was never going to be overturned. And we're all looking at thinking, even if it was a defender to be better, we want our defender Gabriel to be stronger. And there, from a Liverpool point of view, I'm looking at thinking, I want my goalkeeper to deal with that. Now, if the referee hadn't blew his whistle there, that's going to end up being a goal, and we could argue, is it a foul, isn't it a foul? But you'd still come back to it, think your goalkeeper's got to deal with that.
So maybe Liverpool got away with one there, but did you sense the equaliser was coming, Daniel?
I think yes. I think there were moments where Liverpool were building in confidence. We're talking about the transition here. You got Doku on the ball and he's sort of doing his thing. And I think when you're looking at these moments here, you're thinking, fantastic opportunity. Maybe Haaland gets a better connection on it. and we're talking about, 2-0.
But does that sum up the actual role of Trent, where you actually see him higher initially, Doku gets in behind him, now he slots into that midfield role, a hybrid role, and that's where the goal comes from, Daniel?
Definitely, and when you talk about, I like the way Gravenberch kind of drove with the ball and just said, I'm going with this. Manipulation around the ball, around the box. And Salah, of course, another assist on the charts. It was a great touch and finish, man. Low and hard. That's what it's all about, around the box. Loads of bodies around, so the keeper couldn't really see the ball as well. So it was a great finish.
Without that quick touch, that shot gets blocked, doesn't it?
Yeah, that first touch is key. In every moment when you're taking a shot, if the first touch is off, you got no chance of really shooting where you want the ball to go. But the first touch sets him up perfectly to just...
Presumably he's got very little to aim at here as well.
Yeah, man, but you got to use those bodies. That's the key. Use the bodies to, disrupt the keeper's vision. And yeah, it was just a great...
Anywhere else, that's not going in, is it?
I've said about how similar both goals are in terms of the quick touch. Both players don't look up in terms of the goal. You're talking about, like, where can he put it? He's not even looked up to see where the goalkeeper... Listen, the goals don't move, a famous saying, but both players in exactly the same situation. Control, get the shot off, not looking where the goalkeeper is, not really looking to say, OK, I'm trying to put it here or there.
I don't know if we can see that clip again, just with
someone will sort
Trent.
it.
Yeah. What's your point, Mike?
No, because we've seen the best and the worst of Trent. So talking from a fullback point of view, and we know he's got this hybrid role where he does go inside. But if you look at his positioning here, his first thought is to go forward. How can I affect the play going forward? Now he's in a position where he can't really affect it. He gets himself in a decent enough position, but that could have been a goal for Man City. And now what he does, he just gets into this role that we talk from right back into that midfield area. And this is why there's been cries for him to play in midfield, because in these areas, he's so great. Sometimes when you play a bit further forward, he might have been marked. But these late runs here are perfect for a player of his calibre. He's only thinking about one thing, touch and finish. And that is the evolution of the fullback. Back in my days, it was, OK, get back in your position. Don't move.
On the bench?
Stop, well, yeah, comfy one, actually. Stop the ball from coming in the box. You've done your job. But now he's got so much ability.
But he's not a typical fullback, is he? We will come on to this.
But he's still got to do your job. When you're in that position, you've still got to defend properly.
Don't want to let this slide without mentioning that Alisson save, because there has been a little bit of criticism towards him from the game so far. But this was a big intervention, wasn't it?
Fantastic save, man. I mean, just how close it was as well, and the reaction. Takes a deflection there, and it's just the positioning was perfect for him. I
asked him before about his saves, and if you just look the step that he takes, he knows the ball's going in there, and he just sets himself and spreads himself perfectly. On one-on-one situations, he's the best. His positioning, his anticipation, and just his all-round saving is magnificent.
There was another shout for there was another disallowed goal. I'm not sure this was ever going to get given, though, was it, this one?
No, this was a foul, and it was more the second movement of Akanji where once it's caught, he just falls into him. He's fallen that way himself. So
it was a very half-hearted claim from Manchester City, I think.
No, I wonder.
It was a lot more than half-hearted than here at Micah Richards.
Impartial, Carragher. You could learn a thing or two.
But right at the end, another corner, and who do you want involved in these moments? Erling Haaland.
Oh, he was leaped like a salmon, I'm thinking. All the crowd here was jumping on the thought it was in, but look at his
squealing
movement.
In this room at this point.
He just doesn't get the right amount of purchase in it, but his run there is amazing.
The run's great. You know what's key here as well is you've got Alvarez taking the corner. Obviously, his deliveries are fantastic, but you've got Nathan Ake sniffing for a poacher's goal at the back post.
He should be there earlier.
And you know when in those moments, it's like... you know in those moments, it's like you want a centre-forward sniffing or someone in the attacking positions who kind of senses where the ball's going to end up. And I don't know how it felt for you guys as defenders, but...
We didn't score much.
Yeah. But I mean, from a positioning for some corners, did you ever feel like, OK, back post is my spot? Because as a forward, I always feel like if I'm not attacking the ball...
looks, maybe.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, I mean, if anyone wants to, I scored one against Fulham like that at the back post at the top end.
You want to go to the archives? Yeah.
But I think what was interesting in that corner, certainly the fear, Liverpool supporters, that was the one where Alisson was actually, he'd done his hamstring, and you're thinking a couple of balls before, corners have actually gone in, he's maybe got the rub of the green in terms of the VAR, but that one there, I know it goes to Haaland, but I was thinking if they had the ball on him, it doesn't look like he could actually jump or come for the ball on that last corner.
Well, Jurgen, a point at the Etihad. No one else has managed that all year long. How big a moment, do you think, for this Liverpool team?
It is. It is a really good moment, to be honest. It's a tough place to come. It's no coincidence that they win that many home games. It's a place where you have to be ready to suffer. You really would need more time to prepare a game properly, even, especially for these kind of circumstances. With the quality they have, with the fluidity they have, that they really know exactly who is going where. We are still in a process, and I think if we would have played really good today, we could have won. We didn't. We played okay. We had good moments, absolutely, and we scored a goal, and that's absolutely fine. And we caused them problems as well. The problem is a little bit our good moments didn't feel that good to us, but their good moments we felt more. You could see it in the body language a little bit first half. So we had to stretch ourselves again, push ourselves again, and go out and give it a proper try. Adapted slightly in our positioning. That helped as well. Unfortunately, we lost now Diogo with muscle, I don't know exactly, and Ali, we have to see. He felt something as well, so that's not cool. But besides that, it's a good result for us.
City in front, but it hasn't been one-way traffic by any means. How did they get themselves the lead, though, Jamie?
Well, Liverpool have possession and Alisson goes to try and put Mo Salah through, and there's no problem with that. We've seen him famously do that before, I think, a couple of times against Manchester United in the past. So it was on, Salah's away, it just doesn't quite connect. But, I mean, from a Liverpool point of view, they've got to do better. Szoboszlai comes running over maybe too quickly, and Trent's got to be more aggressive, got to be more intensity from there, Michael, but a great finish.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's got to put more intent in it. But I just want to look at the touch here. You mentioned the mistake here from Alisson, but this is a centre-half we're talking about, left-back. Great touch. You think he's going to fake go inside? Goes one way, goes the other. But I just want to talk about Haaland's movement as well. We always talk about, can you get in between the defenders? You know, when you're talking there, who's going to get him? He just managed to get in between there, and it's a lovely finish.
What about the footwork, Daniel?
Yeah, the footwork was fantastic. And you look at the first touch. The first touch is key, gets it out of his feet. And he's almost bobbled it a little bit, and I think that's what's created a problem for Alisson there. If it was right flat on the floor, it may have been a bit of an easier save, but when you hit it into the ground, it creates a different problem. But the first touch was fantastic.
And the second.
Oh, yeah, and the finish is just, beautiful finish.
His first goal in the Premier League against Liverpool, and if there was any doubt, he is indeed, by some stretch, the fastest player ever to 50 goals in Premier League history. So what's been lacking for Liverpool, and particularly Darwin Núñez, Daniel?
Well, I think, in front of goal today, he's probably not been as decisive, I would say. There's been a few little extra touches around. I think this was a good chance here and flicks it on. To be fair, the keeper makes a nice save. I think, when Gary was talking earlier on about around the box and those touches, they are key. It's just about choosing different types of finishes.
But this is a player in form, and you would have thought full of confidence.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do think he is full of confidence. These are the things that happen. It's just this extra touch here. Maybe he could have toe-poked it a little bit, but I think he is confident. Yes, he's not took a chance today, but that doesn't mean he won't score, in the second half. Micah?
Yeah, I just think you talked about finishing before, and maybe he could have, when he had that bad touch, could he have dug it out and showed a different finish? It's almost like when he took that touch, he started to panic and think, I've lost the ball here. Maybe lost a little bit of confidence, but what I do like about him is always on the move. He's always alive. He's always a threat. And if he carries on that in the second half, he's going to get another opportunity.
Welcome back. So 1-0 Manchester City. Erling Haaland's 50th Premier League goal, the difference in just 48 games. Before we get to that, though, where it came from, Adigo Johnson was a little worried about Liverpool's goalkeeper before the goal.
Well, he showed us that his kicking was not didn't get off to a great start, let's put it that way. Invited Manchester City's pressure. I mean, we've seen him take risks. This is not so much the goalkeeper. I think his defenders put him under pressure there, deals with it. But you can see incidents where there's pressure on the goalkeeper, leads to more pressure from Manchester City, and then this happens. We've seen it many a times where he has found Mo Salah, even 1v1, or even had assists. And on the one day you do not want to make a mistake is especially against Manchester City away. And then that mistake leads to sloppy defending and next mistake and all of a sudden you're 1-0 down.
What about the defending, Michael?
Yeah, it was a knock-on effect. Either's right. Goalkeeper tries to be outside of his right foot and then slips over. Szoboszlai, Trent don't do enough. And then, of course, Virgil loses Erling Haaland. But what you would say is Haaland does exactly what you expect. His first touch is exemplary, opens his body up. His first touch is towards the goal and he finishes really, really quickly, and it's a lovely finish by him. But Liverpool will be really upset because there's a number of errors that have contributed to that goal. But he is electric. 50 goals in 48 games. What more can you say about him?
Well, he's, like I said before, he smashed that record that was held by Andy Cole. Took 65, 17 games left for Erling Haaland. Colo, you've played a bit at full-back in your life. We talked about Doku against Trent. I mean, how dangerous has Doku been? How problematic's he been?
Like we said before, he's a very electric player. He can go either way. I think what Liverpool is trying to do right now, they just double up always on him. There's always a midfield come to support Alexander Trump there, but he still find a way to pass. And there again, you can see the lovely skill they did there, and that's nearly lead to a goal. He's a player really dangerous. They always need to keep the discipline, making sure that double up on him to stop him coming inside or going out, definitely.
I mean, he's been really efficient though, Doku, hasn't he? You see there, he goes, as Colo said, right foot, left foot. But his recirculation of the ball is excellent. You know, if he knows that he can't take anybody on, he'll just come out and find and start again. But he very rarely wastes a pass just for the sake of taking people on. So his choice and his selection of when he takes people on or when he comes back has been really, really good. You know, highlighting in those graphics there.
Haaland's had one chance at one end again and has scored. What about his opposite number, Darwin Núñez, in his first 45 minutes for you up there?
Well, it's coming here now.
This one, mate, yeah.
Where he creates good space for himself. There, the first touch needs to be in front of him, needs to be clinical in his finishing. And that's identical as Haaland's chance in the goal, where his first touch is in front of him and he puts it in the back of the net. And I think this is a difference between someone with full confidence, but also a difference in absolute top quality striker with Núñez still too inconsistent.
Yeah, his first touch, as Ida said, it has to be across his body onto his left foot, and then it gives him the opportunity to keep the defenders away. But as soon as he takes it with his right foot, Darwin, and he starts going into the pitch, he's just going into a host of blue bodies, has to open his body up and go away from the defenders, and then he gets his shot away, no problem at all.
In this high level of games, you don't get many chances, and when you have opportunity like that for Núñez, you have to make sure that you are clinical on your first touch and you finish. If we don't do that, you know, Arnold in the other side, we do it, and that's what happened.
A goal rush. That, of course, after a huge 45 minutes to come at the Etihad, just before we go back to Manchester. Maka, what about this save right on the stroke of half-time from Alisson?
Yeah,
how crucial could this be?
Well, it's incredibly crucial. Again, no pressure really on Phil Foden. You know he wants to cut onto his left foot. They allow him to get into that central area and get the shot away. Really important save from the goalkeeper.
So at 1-0, Liverpool still in this, so they've got to up their game, though.
Here at the Etihad Stadium. A warm welcome from me, Derek Ray. I'm joined for commentary by the former Arsenal and England defender, Lee Dixon. I'm looking forward to bringing you action from the Premier League coming right up. It is Manchester City taking on Liverpool.
Yeah, thanks, Derek. I'm just hoping we get a nice, quick tempo from the start of this game. Both teams do...
And on the back of that particular challenge, will the referee let the matter rest there? We've barely got started and already a yellow card. Now, will that be potentially problematic for player and official?
Well, it will be because the...
Now the task is to remain focused. In it goes, an early goal. No wonder they're celebrating.
Well, here's the replay. It's a really lovely through ball. And once he gets himself settled with the keeper to beat, he hammers it into the back of the net. Smashing goal.
Slightly different vantage point in terms of the goal that was scored. The opening goal of the game then. It is advantage Liverpool here. Free kick awarded to Liverpool. Roberto Firmino. Well, that's one for them to pursue. Oh, he's missed it!
Oh, goal behind Derek, and he's missed. It's a big miss.
Gundogan. Foden. An alert intervention. Robertson. And a chance to whip it in here. He read it well, but still work to do. Might be able to set up the chance. And he's alone in the middle by the look of things.
Oh, that is a majestic goal! Volleyed home with precision and style. Superbly done. Well, here it is again. It's all about the pace in transition. They were so quick to get out from the back, and then just look at the finish. Reads the flight perfectly and absolutely smashes it beyond the keeper. There's just no stopping that.